Hello everyone, welcome to Tech. So this is the part two of the spreadsheet course, and this is just a sample data I got. Obviously, some of the things I gave to my students back then years ago, and you just want to do this, right? We look at it, just basics, arithmetic. We look at it together, and like I said, this is a beginner's course. We're going to look at it together. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create this, from scratch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another worksheet, and I'm going to call it. I can rename the worksheet to be okay. Let's look at the name. Let's look at this. Okay. We can call it scores, right? You can call it scores. So you could actually rename it scores, and you can add a tab color to it if you want to. Now I can copy the set of data. Let me just copy the set of data. Just want to copy it. That would help us save all the stress on typing. Just going to copy it as plain. Yes, I have copied as a plain text. Now let me undo it again and do it. So obviously to copy as a plain, you right click and you have a whole lot of options. And for me, I just want to paste the values only. Okay. Yes. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click here. Now when I click here, it's going to select the columns and the row together. And in between A and B, I can just double click here so that everything is clear. Now what I want to do right here is I want to insert another row. So I'm going to insert another row. And here is going to be my header. So I can call this okay, I can call it Year 8 worksheet for the 3 terms. Okay, yeah. And what I'm going to do right now is now notice that these labels are stored inside the first cell. So it means if I do like hi, now it doesn't take off that word because it's right here. You can see it here in our formula bar. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to merge. Now merge cells talks about combination of multiple cells to see it as a single cell. Yeah, that's what merge cell is all about. So combination of multiple cells to see what as a single cell. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to highlight it from A1, and we call it range, cell range, right? Cell range talks about collections of what multiple cells, right? That's cell range. For example, and they are denoted with a column. For example, I could do for example equals to maybe A1 to let's say G11 and see what happens. G11. Can you see that? So this is the cell range, right? Or probably I could do it to maybe H11 and it's going to select. Okay, maybe 10 and it's going to select. So this is known as a cell range, right? When you're spanning through across multiple cells. Okay, that is just what the cell range is all about. Okay, very, very important. That's what the cell range is all about, right? So it's a collection of what choosing cells, right? And they are mostly referred to as in formulas, and this is a good example of a formula as we refer them to. Okay, it's a tedious work to do A1 or maybe plus, right, or comma A2, right? It's a tedious work, but with a cell range I can just do 2 H10. So it is what a collection of what a choosing cell. Okay, hope that makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to highlight from A1 to H1. Okay, now it's going to be seen as A1 when we merge it. So to merge it, this is what we're going to do right here under home tab. I'm going to do merge. Now it's seen as what a single cell. Then I can go to my alignment and I'll make it center. Now I can do one better. I can do a fill color and I can add, this is called a fill color, and if you highlight here, it's not the fill color, and you could hover on it. Okay, I'm going to go with it dark green. And my text color right here, what you call your font color, is going to be white. And I can bold it. Okay. Right? Now, the next thing I want to do is I can now add borders to it. So I'm going to highlight this, all of it. Now, because this is merged, so I can just highlight the whole of this. And I'm going to add my border to it. Now, my border could be all borders, right? So I add my all borders to it. If you want to increase the internal grid lines, right, to it, you're going to come here to line style. And then you can choose which of them you want. And then click on the all borders, and now it gets thicker. Okay, so I will just select all and I will just adjust them a bit. Oh boy, so just double click on it. Just double click on it, so I can just do it manually because I just want to have a lot of spaces right here, spaces. Yeah. Okay, so I have scores. So I can either having scores. I can just delete this. We call this formatting the cell. And right here, I'm going to highlight this, and I'm going to merge it. See? Now this picks merge and center. Okay, yes, I'm going to merge, and I'm going to what? Center. And probably I can add another color to it. Maybe a light green something. Okay, fine. Just to give an idea how it works. Okay, and I can bold all this, all my headers, I can bold it. And now at this point, okay, I can now do some things here. Now this is the total, so I might want to do something like this. Okay, and then I have the student name, the site serial number, the surname, the first name, and the terms of the scores. And it all depends on how you want to do it. Okay, for me, I would prefer the score to be centered align. So I'm going to highlight it and make it center align, and make it middle align. Okay, make it middle align. So in such a way that if I want to do something like this, sorry, you see that? So I'm going to undo it. So it becomes center. Okay. Alright, so we have this. What else? Then let's do the scores. Basic, right? We're just doing basic arithmetic. So the first one I have is a plus. And I'm going to do it right here. So let me just pick set of data. Let's say I have 60 and I have 80. Now let's just pick the basics. Let's say 4, okay, 10, and okay, maybe 12 and 3. Okay. Now if I want to perform an addition, I'm going to do equals to the first one plus the second one, hit enter. So anytime I change this to like 4, the value changes. Okay, so I'm just going to put a color here to just differentiate it. Yes. Now let's say I want to do division. Okay, so I do equals to, now that's overwriting on the cell. Select the first one, slash 4, and then I have it. And if I make this, let's say 14, I'm going to have a decimal number. Now, assuming I don't want a decimal number, what do? I can decrease, right? I can decrease the numbers there. Okay. Okay. No, that's not for decrease. That's for indentation. So I have it here. Decrease decimal. Yes. Now I have a whole number. If I want to multiply, I can do equals to the first one times using asterisk, the other value, and enter. So if I change this to let's say 5, the value changes. So we have done addition, and so we have done addition here. Let me type this addition. Okay, just put this here, which is denoted with a plus. Sorry. Okay. Okay, let me do this. Denoted with a plus. Now this is to see it as, okay, let me take the first one off. Okay. Come in, just put this as a label. Okay, so this is to see this as a label. Okay, so we have multiplication, okay, and I have steric, then I have division, I'm not following the board mass rule, so just general, okay, and their symbols, okay, just call the symbols, then subtraction, okay, so I have, these are the symbols for these arithmetic operations. Okay, so for subtraction, it could be equals to the first value minus second value. So we have this. Okay, so we have finally done with all the operations here. Now, the next thing I want to introduce you to is functions. Okay, so what are functions? Now, when we look at functions, okay, functions are predefined formulas. Okay, they are predefined formulas. Okay, predefined formulas that performs calculations by using specific. A good example is equals to sum. So they are predefined formulas that performs calculation by using specific values, and these values are called arguments. Okay, now, and they are usually in a particular what order or structure. Yeah, that is what functions are. Functions can be used to perform simple or complex calculations, right? And we can find all of them here. Now, in the name box. Now, the moment I do equals to, I get a lot of functions to pick from. These are the ones I've used. I get a lot of them. You have more functions to pick from. Okay? So I have sum, and it adds all the numbers, and I have the structure. They have a structure that you can use. Okay? They have a structure. Okay? So because they can perform simple or complex what? Calculation. The most important thing is that they go in a particular order and there is structure for it. For example, it could be number 1, comma, number 2, and then you can use a range for it. Okay. Now, to find my total score, I'm going to use a function. You can use a basic addition by doing equals to the first one plus the second one plus and the third value, and do enter. Hit on enter. Okay, so I'm just going to format this to center line. Probably make this as well to center line. So, okay, and it works. But if I want to use a function, it will still give me the same thing, but function makes it less cool, right? More fun and more cool, and actually less complex. Okay, because imagine if you have a large set of data and you have to be adding all of them. So stressful, I know, right? So you have equals to sum, and then you can highlight this. Now this becomes a range. Or, and it gives you the same score. Or equals to sum, and then you have the first one, comma, the second value, comma, and it shows you a sample, the third value, and then close it, and it will still give you the same value. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is field handle, your ability to copy formulas across. Now, the beauty about Excel and spreadsheet is the fact that you don't have to keep typing formulas in each of the rows. You can type a formula in the first row and then you can just copy and paste. Literally one of the favorite thing every employee and learners know how to do. Copy and paste. So this is what we're going to do. Okay, so I can just copy and paste. Now it's giving me D5, D4. So it's actually working. I want to be sure because it gave me the same answer. Or okay, let me just paste here. Copy and paste. I've copied it. Now literally copy is Ctrl C and Ctrl V. So to Ctrl C to copy and Ctrl V to paste. Okay, so Ctrl C, and then it shows you this grid line to show you that this is the cell that has been copied. And then I can click on the next cell, paste, 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 click on the next cell, paste. But it's stressful. It's so stressful. So what is the best way to do this? Now let me show you. I'm going to delete all this, and then I'm going to use my fill handle and drag. How cool is this? Now notice that we have the icons, the cursor. Rather, I want to explain the cursor. When it's this cursor, it means to highlight. But when it changes to this, this means a fill handle. You see it right here, right? It means to autofill. So we have the option of just doing a flash fill. Okay, so you could do a flash fill and it's just going to perform that, and it goes on and on. Okay, or you could just right here, let me take this off, see what happens. I can just double click, and if I double click on it, it's going to add up everything automatically, which is cool, including this. Okay, including this. So I don't want that. So there's so many ways to go about this. So you can just drag to the areas you want, and that's it. For the average score, you have average, right? So I'm going to use, I can start to do it mathematically by adding the scores and then dividing by 3, or I could use a function, okay, which is what? A predefined formula that performs calculation by using a specific values that we call arguments. Okay, so functions are important. Okay, now what are formulas? Because what we've been doing are called formulas. Okay, so formulas in spreadsheet or Excel, formulas in spreadsheet or Excel is the calculations that we carry on, you know, the calculations that we perform. So what formula does in Excel is to calculate values. That's what formulas are. I know most of you are thinking, oh, formulas, what are formulas? They're just to calculate values in a specific order. And if a formula begins with, watch this, equals to. If you wonder why do we begin a formula with equals to? So a formula begins with what? Equals to. Okay? So interpret that with what? The equal sign. And once you see the equal sign, it becomes a formula. Anything you click, it sees that as a formula. Because it begins, whenever it says equals to, it feels that you want to, you know, carry out a calculation. Okay? Alright. Now I'm going to use a function equals to average. And now I could do this, comma. Okay, remember their functions, they have a specific order structure, and then I close this. And it gives me the average. And if you do your calculations, or you want to do this, equals to the value right here divided by 3, it will give you the same thing. Okay, which makes it so cool. Yeah. Okay, or you can do this, equals to average, and then you can get a range, a cell reference, a range of cells, the range of cells that you want to perform this calculation on, okay, and we call this arguments. By the way, we call this arguments. Okay, whatever you're doing is an argument. Okay, yes, we call this an argument. Okay, so because whenever you whenever you whenever you're performing a calculation, okay, using a specific values, that these values are called argument in functions. Okay, so that's fine. So we can close this and hit enter and it gives the same thing. Now still the same structure, we can decide to double click to solve everything. It's showing you div because there is nothing to divide. Okay, there is nothing to divide. So I'm just going to delete this. Okay, and then again I could do this, track down. Okay, now I could do this by decreasing the decimal. Okay, decreasing it, and now if I drag this here, see what happens. Now it gives you a whole number. And finally, to get the total for each of the term, then we can do equals to sum, and then you can get hit on your shift, hold your shift, and it's going to select all, which makes it easier for you if you have long set of details. And then close it. And now I'm just going to make this center line, and I'm going to bold it. And now right here I'm going to just drag, which makes it so. So this is one way to do it. Okay, this is one way to do it. In our next course, we'll be looking at how we can create charts with this data. Now I want to show you how to save it. If you've done that, how to save it, we could save it, do save as, because I want to work with this. Browse, click on browse. Now right here in your computer, you could maybe go to desktop and we just create a folder for this, and we can call it spreadsheet. Pause, and I will just call this arithmetic, or performing basic arithmetic, and this is going to be part 2. Okay, yeah, it's going to be part 2. And guys, don't forget Agile Tech. Yeah, I can emphasize this enough. Agile Tech. Okay, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's loaded with a lot of information. I'm talking massive information. If you're a student, if you're a marketer, a business person, finance, this is for you. If you want to learn how to operate your computer, it's tech. You want to learn how to operate a computer, Windows, Macintosh, your iPhone, this is just literally the best YouTube channel for you ever. So hit on the subscribe button, and I'll see you in my next video. All right, bye bye.